Good day, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started. It is 12 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast as people continue to fill into the webinar. We're recording this just so that you know. And if you miss any part of it, we will be sure to post this on our YouTube channel, as always, so that you will be able to access it at any time or review any portions of it that you might have missed. So my name is Gabriela Ribeiro. I am with True Marketing, and we work together hand in hand with Beauty of Japan, which is a spectacular DMC in Japan, on various projects and with various prefectures in the country. On different marketing projects, different PR initiatives as well. So it's a pleasure today to talk to you about some really special, unique experiences in 3 undiscovered regions of Japan. And having just come back, I was there last week, I can tell you, and as you all probably well know, the value for American travelers has really never been better. When you're on the ground in Japan, you're really saving a lot of money. The exchange rate at the moment is extremely favorable for a US traveler. So I found myself enjoying myself to the fullest, but spending far less than I ever would have imagined, which is great. So now is a great time to consider thinking about it and also booking Japan. So it's really exciting to be able to deliver this webinar to you as well. And as we mentioned, we do have a nice giveaway, a lovely Amazon gift card, which comes in handy around this time of year. So if you're the lucky winner, you'll be notified after the webinar. So thank you for joining. Okay, so welcome officially to this unique webinar that's designed to share some of the most unique immersions and experiences across some of Japan's most culturally rich destinations that are a bit off the beaten path. So you're going to learn a few new things today. What's important to note before we delve into these areas is that these projects we'll be talking about today are led in part by the JCI, which is a young group of Japanese entrepreneurs who have created several special projects utilizing and leveraging their unique connections. And they give you access, or visitors access, to places that normally are not, are sort of off limits to visitors. So you're going to see some sort of insider track here with everything. So I'm kind of excited to share this with you. So we'll go into what we're talking about today and who we're talking about. Okay, so the regions we're going to touch on today are Tohoku, which is located in the northeast of Japan, as you can see here in the right, in Iwate Prefecture. And then we're also going to be talking about the Tokai area in central Japan. And then the Kinki area, which is in the south of which is just south of the 3, rather. So we'll showcase ideas in all, give you some ideas of how to put some of these itineraries together and how to string together these experiences so that they make sense. All right, so let's begin with Tohoku and what it all is about. And first, how do you get there? That's always everybody's first question. The good news is that it's very easily accessible by bullet train, which is highly efficient in Japan. If you've traveled on it, you know, and if you haven't, it's really the only way to go, and it's great to get around. So it's just 2 hours from Tokyo to Morioka, or if you're traveling from Kyoto or Osaka, it's roughly a 5-hour journey. So just to give you some points of orientation. So we'll dive in with some craft, art, and local experiences from Iwate Prefecture now in the Tohoku region. The prefecture has a really deep history for people living in really living off the land. And it's known for an area with a wide variety of crafts, gorgeous hot springs, and stunning, beautiful nature. So it's very photogenic as well. So the first thing we'll introduce to you is its famous Nambu ironware. And this is known to be very expensive due to its very complex manufacturing process and the type of craftsmanship it requires to make it. But on the flip side, once you buy it, you almost never need to buy it again. It has excellent heat retention. The iron gives everything a mellow flavor, and it can be used for many, many years. Very durable, and it's popular with the following types of people, people who teach and lead tea ceremonies, people with a high disposable income, and those concerned about improving their food and life, because there's a nutritional components to cooking in this cast iron as well. So in recent years, the quality of these products has become more widely known and the color variations are more abundant. So this has become really popular with people who go to the region and want to experience it. So one of the interesting ideas that one can do in the region is to delve into the charm of this. You can visit the Oigan Casting Company Limited. So this is a very, very special company that has a history of 400 years. of creating this durable, very long-lasting product. And it's generally something in Japanese families or even in travelers' families that is passed down by generations because they are so long-lasting. Very, very special pieces. And it's nice for a visitor who's traveling in this region to be able to get up close and see how this is made and, kind of see from the origin to the end product. Really, really interesting. So the weight and the stability of the ironware combined with its rough texture make it very simple, but also very beautiful. So this is a popular product as it's exported to other countries and, like countries in Europe, countries in Asia, and the US as well. Super popular amongst tea lovers. So if you do know someone who loves tea, it makes it an excellent gift. So here with one of these special access tours, you can tour the factory where you can observe various pieces. You can taste hot water boiled in one of these pots to really taste and feel the difference. And then also trying your hand at making omelets in this special ironware. So you really can play around with it and see how you can cook in it and notice the difference. All right, and next these are for people that really enjoy art and also the idea of a social economy and socially giving back. We'd like to introduce you to a very unique art group called Heraldoni, which was born. The idea was born between two twins who had an autistic brother, and they noticed he had artistic talents, so they were able to create sort of a space in this way as a way for people who are neurodiverse to showcase their work. To give everybody with different abilities and different, neurodiverse conditions to be able to really have a platform and a space to show what they can really do. So the brand's mission is to radiate your color. That's sort of their tagline, and they love to showcase again artworks created by intellectually challenged people who are out in the world, but maybe don't have another platform to showcase their designs. So the place is very unique, and it was selected as a finalist in the LVMH Innovation Award, LVMH being, the holding company of such brands as Louis Vuitton and so forth. So very, very prestigious award. This was an award won out of 1,500 companies from around the world that competed. So they were awarded the Employee Experience Diversity and Inclusion Award, which is wonderful. Very, 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 very honorable mention. Here you can spend time and you can visit the artist studio. You can experience weaving at the Lumbini Museum, which is interesting. So you can kind of get up close to this unique art with your hands, learn about the artwork origin at the gallery, and even have the opportunity to purchase some of these artworks. So this is a very, very highly respected artistic brand in Japan, has beautiful ties and partnerships into some global companies such as Disney. So being able to get access here and to get in and to really experience it is quite special and unique and something that might have not been available before. So these are just some ideas of the space. And the messaging behind it is also beautiful. Okay, so when it's time to eat, this is interesting too. We'll chat about something called wanko soba, which is a unique dish served in a historic building called Nanchuoso, which is a 140-year-old home that's now a highly visited spot for those that wish to come and appreciate the surroundings of the beautiful Japanese garden and its ever-changing scenes through the seasons. And that's what's so beautiful too. Japan does have many seasons, kind of like we do here in the Northeast. So foliage changes, flora changes, which is lovely. So here the garden is beautiful. And then what you do here is it really tests your will and it allows you to see how much one can eat. And I'll tell you how. So wanko soba is said to be a food culture that was born about 400 years ago, and it involves the eater and the waiter one-on-one. So the eater finishes the bowl of soba that they're given, then the waiter will say, "Here you go," and then he'll put the next bowl of soba there in front of the eater, and so on and so forth. So when you want to finish eating, you've got to put the lid on the bowl rather at the right time. So if you don't do it at the right time, he'll keep putting in soba and you might not be able to finish. So the interaction with the waiter is one of the charming highlights of this unique experience. And it's very, very enjoyable. It's definitely something you probably want to film. It's a nice little challenge. And people enjoy it. So it may seem like force feeding, but just kidding around, but it is actually a traditional Japanese custom of offering refills to guests even when they cannot finish the whole meal. So by the way, the world record for wanko soba is in 5 minutes, 258 small bowls, which is equivalent to 26 bowls, regular bowls of soba noodles. So that's a lot. Just a bit of context, Morioka City has a unique soba culture with a deep-rooted long-standing history, over 400 years, and it's not found anywhere else in Japan. So there are various theories about the beginning of this culture and this phenomenon, but one theory that has originated that sort of stands is, this area is famous for soba, as during the Warring States period, the powerful samurai who visited the area received guests and thought it would be rude to serve the lord the same bowl as the commoners. So they would serve them one bite of soba in a fine lacquerware bowl. And when the guest liked it so much, he would ask for it several times in several seconds. And that's said to be the origin of the dish. So it's basically an all-you-can-eat fixed price system. So the price remains the same no matter how much you consume. It's a lot of fun. Some restaurants provide condiments such as spring onions and nori seaweed so that you don't get bored of just eating the noodles. And records are logged at each restaurant. So at the All Japan Wanko Soba Championship, some past winners have eaten over 600 bowls in 15 minutes. So for comparison, the average person would feel full after just 50 bowls. So there you go. I hope everyone's hungry now. All right, just to touch on a little bit of information of some of the hotel highlights in the area to get a sense of what might appeal to US guests. Here we have Tsunagi Onsen, which is a 900-year-old hot spring area with a resort built on it now, where you can experience the beautiful four seasons in traditional Japanese style. So it's got lovely ever-changing surroundings. It features multi-course meals that change every month, and tatami mat Japanese style rooms with open air bath utilizing natural hot spring therapeutic water. So prices here start at about 45,000 yen per person per night for 2 people. And then something a little bit more modern and more brand oriented. There's the ANA Intercontinental Apikogen Resort, which was a 2023 World Luxury Hotel Award winner. So very special. It was also selected as the first Michelin Key hotel in Japan, which is the only one in the Tohoku area, to note. Unique facilities include a floating tea house on a pond and artworks with a presidential suite with a private garden. That's about 306 square meters. Prices start at 300,000 yen per person per night for 2 people. So it's within a mountain resort with, again, gorgeous nature in both the green and the snow seasons. So these prices that I'm quoting to, these are average, but if you do the translation, you'll find they are extremely affordable and just a wonderful value at the moment for Japan, which is great for us. So now we'll go into the Tokai area and some of its highlights. So this is the area in the central west of Japan. 5 hours bullet train to Takayama from Tokyo, 4 hours bullet train from Kyoto, and 2.5 hours from Nagoya. So the bullet train, once again, is the most efficient and seamless way to travel within Japan and always highly recommended. So here, what we'll do now is we'll share some of the region's highlights with you and some of the special experiences, again, that have been developed. So let's begin with a stroll through Takayama's historic old town, either on foot or perhaps cruising in a rickshaw, which can be a lot of fun. The town is very charming. It's lined with dumpling shops, traditional craft shops, sake breweries, and more. So there are 3 streets of Takayama that are really the main points of interest, sort of the heart center. The center of the castle town called Kamimachi and Shimomachi, which were developed as merchant towns, and they're sort of called the old townscape. So you have irrigation water flowing under the eaves and the rows of the lattice windows, and then you see sake breweries, which have, beautiful cedar leaves and trees surrounding them and hanging from them, and beautiful, intricate wood carvings. It's just a very, very interesting place to walk around and giving you a very interesting sense of place from a long time ago. So Kamimachi specifically is more lined with sweet shops, traditional craft shops, and shops selling famous works that are very local to this area and endemic to the area. So it's generally bustling with tourists. Shimomachi is usually filled with people looking for stores related to civic life. It's traditional townscape, so you see a lot of shops, again, selling sweets, rice cakes, antiques, farm equipment, even tatami mats, stationery. There's a little post office and small restaurants. So it becomes a little bit of a nice popular walkable tourist town in the region. So Hida is another area that we'll talk about, which is really more forestal. So it's rich in nature. The forests of Hida in the region have been protected as official forests for the shogunate, which is why jobs related to wood and forest have been industrialized in daily life since ancient times. And it's a culture of using the characteristics and the individuality of the wood. So you see a lot of wooden structures here, wooden framed homes, a lot of different crafts that integrate this into them. So when you stroll around the old townscape of Takayama City, you really can see the craftsmanship of these Hida artisans nearly everywhere, especially in the temples as well. The people who create these and in Hida and beyond have been and still are, very, very highly skilled. So they have just a magnificent capability to work with this wood, and this is something that has been passed down and down from generation to generation. Okay, we'll move on to something interesting here. Seiki City is said to be one of the 3 major blade towns in the world. So what does that mean? They're creating knives and swords and all sorts of things like that. And some of the other towns that are very popular for this include Solingen in Germany and Sheffield in England. So maybe it's one of these are the top 3 of the pyramid here. So the origins of this particular city date back to about 800 years ago when the founder of the sword industry moved to Seki and started creating his craft. So the city's reputation for these unbreakable, unbending, super sharp apparatus has really spread through the country, and it has supported Japan's sword industry for over 700 years. So now this is where you go, or where anybody goes to pick up something like this using steel and even more products. So today, a lot of the products are made using traditional methods, range from kitchen knives, scissors, razors, nail clippers, other types of knives, and swords. So today, as a blade production area, as exported to the world, this brand is very, very highly regarded in many parts of the world. So one unique activity you can take part in here in the swordsmithing is under the direction of 25th and 26th generation swordsmiths from the Muromachi period, which is interesting. So here there's a gentleman, Fujiwara Kanafusa, who's been making swords for the Tokugawa family and the sumo wrestlers for generations and generations. So his line runs deep. And here he'll help you, and you can process and create a 5-inch nail and even make an original paper knife you can take with you. A lot of people say, what if I make something? Can I take it home? We'll answer that in a minute. But you can make paper forms of some of these interesting apparatus. So since ancient times, swords have been said to have mystical powers. Amulet swords are not for self-defense, but surely for the power of the sword. So it was more of a spiritual talisman to protect brides. There was also a custom of parents giving their brides a bridal short sword to express their wishes for safety and prosperity of the family, healthy growth of their descendants, and the safety of the bride. So you can definitely make a paper knife, or you can purchase something later on. So some interesting facts and just answers to questions that we get a lot. Can I buy a Japanese sword? Well, you can request the master swordsmith to make a fully customized sword. But if you have time, you can see it on in person on the day and decide what to do, how to ship it back. But communication ahead of time is usually done by email, and it takes about 6 months to a year to make a sword. So if your clients, if this is important to them, they would have to, or you would have to help them start early. Can I buy knives? You can buy knives at the Seki Cutlery Museum and the Gifu Seki Cutlery Hall. So not only knives, but also scissors, knives, nail clippers, kitchen utensils. Both places are about 5 minutes by car to the swordsmith's area and studio. So one highly recommended hotel here that I can show you is Taniya. Here, the entire building is available for booking and for rent. So the prices for the entire domicile is between 150,000 and 300,000 yen per group, depending on the meal and activity programs and options rather in the program. So here you can find beautiful architecture that unites the techniques of woodworking of the modern Hida craftsman, blended with just a gorgeous frame of nature and natural wonder. So the accommodation is in a detached building at the Kusakabe Folk Museum, and which is said to be the pinnacle of pure Japanese folk architecture. And guests can relax in this at night in their private space. And the cultural facility on site is available to the public only during the day. But special artisan tours are available only for guests, guided by the owner. So you have an exclusive access if you are a guest here to some of that, some of that gallery and to see some of the owner's most special works. Okay, and we'll move on to the final area we're going to be discussing today, Kinki, how to arrive. It's a region best accessible by air if you're staying in Tokyo, so consider 1 hour flight from Tokyo's Haneda Airport, or alternatively, if you're coming from Osaka, it's a 2 hour bullet train journey. And we'll show you some of the highlights here. Okay, beautiful, refreshing natural wonder here. We'll start with the Kumano-Koto Trail here in the area that leads to a very, very famous shrine, the Kumano Hongu Taisha Shrine. So this is something that's registered as a World Heritage Site. It holds a very, very important place in the history and culture of Japan. And the shrine, excuse me, the shrine buildings are representative of traditional Japanese architectural style, and their majestic appearance really, really does overwhelm anybody who lays eyes on them. They are very, very worth to go visit. So this area's history and faith and deep connection with nature and cultural value are very, very diverse. So it's been an area that's been revered by people since ancient times, and it's a presence that still fascinates many visitors here because you really feel in the center of Japanese history and culture. So the special visit to the shrine, which is normally off limits to the public, is now an experience where you can feel this energy of the gods, as the grounds are the closest place to them, really. So this is one of the three main shrines that you see here that make up the hugely popular Kumano-Koto Trail. The largest torii gate in Japan, actually, incidentally. And it's located in the midst of abundant nature. And in particular, the Kumano River here is revered as a sacred river, and its pure water is known as a power spot. If you're able to touch that water, it's known to have, or said to have, powers. So overall, this is a very interesting and sacred place for nature and spirituality. So the shrine has a history of over 2,000 years, but only began being open to the public somewhat in 2023. So it has no plans to open up widely in the public in the near future, but this particular tour allows you to enter this special area with special permission that has been created and curated by this wonderful group of people. Okay, so it's also a great area for tasting local fare. The Nenko plums, which are famous for this area, are grown in Kishu in Wakayama Prefecture, which is the #1 area for Japanese plum production, and it's registered globally as a very important agricultural and heritage site. So Nenko plums are a variety of plum that represents the prefecture and are characterized by their elegant taste and thick flesh. So they're very highly regarded, not only in Japan, but overseas, and are used in a variety of processed products, such as umeboshi and umeshu. So they are rich in organic acids and citric acid, such as malic acid, which is said to be effective in relieving fatigue and increasing appetite. And they're also really rich in vitamin C. So that leads to kind of interesting skin beautifying effects. So Umetoko Limited is the top company here that manufactures and sells the pickled plums here. And in one of these, top producing regions. It was founded in 1942. So this has really been the key company that's been long producing these products for a very long time. And so after 37 years in business, the previous owner perfected a new flavor, never before seen in Japan. So this was called the seasoned umeboshi, which was flavorful and a little bit different from the salty and sour tastes in the past. So now everybody loves this seasoned version. So this company manufactures and sells them, and you are able to sort of, take part in some of the tastings and see the production and see how the traditional methods are blended in here. So where to stay? Hotel Kawakyu, excuse me, is a 4-star hotel, and really interesting because it's been certified as Japan's leading museum, and the whole building itself is a museum. So architects and creators from all over the world are invited to create works in the hotel and within the complex here. So they offer modern Japanese suites with a Western style room as well, and they start at about 40,000 to 55,000 yen per night. You can see some of those beautiful photos there. So just to dive into some sample itineraries here, and you can see how all of these get put together. Here's just a review of what we touched on. We touched on the Nambu Ironware. We touched on this beautiful Harelbani gallery. We're able to see works of art from a neurodiverse group of artists. So here's how something might lay out here in the area. And again, we will send this copy of the presentation to anyone who wants or needs to see it because it's a lot of information to take down, but this will be available to you. So you can just see how something might go. So you would depart, early in the morning from Tokyo, arrive, and then you might want to take in the Wanko Soba experience, a little bit of a demo, then take in the factory where you can be up close with the ironworks. Overnight there, maybe, kind of take yourself on a little bit of a revitalization journey as well, and taking a dip in one of the onsens for sure. And then enjoying meals specially prepared by local chefs. And then the next day, enjoy your breakfast at the property, maybe take in the Lumbini Art Museum to get a little bit more of that culture. And then what we can also do is create some unique dining experiences for lunch or dinner, and then you're taking the bullet train back. So this is how it can be a lovely little, excursion or side trip if people have an extra day or two in Tokyo. So a couple of other things you can do here too with some options. Kind of incidentally, this is interesting. The area holds the Guinness World Record for the world's largest taiko drum parade. So if you're around in that time and you're able to take that in, we can add that on. Different kind of add-ons that you can customize, but that's just it gives you an idea of how this lays out and how it would work within your regular itinerary. So none of these are a huge extra time commitment, but they really can serve to enhance a guest's experience. And then the Tokai area, just to review, we talked about the swordsmithing. We talked about the beautiful Hida area. We spoke about Takayama City and its culture and charm, and one of their most revered hotels in the area. So here's how that would lay out too. You would get picked up at the station, and we would integrate many of these experiences in the journey. So you can kind of see as we go from here, go on and on. You can stay in a very, very traditional hotel, walk the streets with a guide, go visit the swordsmith, take part in a beautiful bespoke meal, experience, making paper knives, and really feel that you are absolutely part of the culture here. So some of the traditional foods that you want to try in the region, we can make sure if your guests know what they want to eat or what they want to try, then these on-site companies can make sure that they are customizing to their needs and wants, and also dietary requirements as well. So here's just another area of how this could lay out too. And you can see some optional tours like, dinner using some local products and fresh vegetables and produce and things like that. And different types of tastings, different types of options that you can customize. But you see, all of these are very, very quick, 1 night, 2 days, and can easily be integrated into any other itinerary. And then in the Kinki area, we spoke about the Meboshi, and we can do some of the tastings, visit the shrine, and feel very deeply connected to your spiritual side. The stay in the hotel recommended here is very, very authentic. So you're able to sort of appreciate local art, whether it's, more modern or something more traditional, but get a sense of the traditional crafts here. And also some of the rooms where you can take baths in using hot spring water. So that's a very revitalizing experience. So overall, there's quite a lot to do here. And again, we'll send you all of these options so that you can take a look. And we'd always be happy to help you get in touch with any of these purveyors or to make sure that we can point you in the right direction on anything at all that you need. So we're open for questions. The chat is open, and you can feel free. We'll stay on for the next couple of minutes here. Feel free to put any of your questions in the chat and we'll address them. Ted says, these are amazing experiences. Thank you so much. We agree. Ryokan stays, Lauren Rizzuto. Yes, of course. So some of these hotels are ryokan style. There are others. So depending on what your client wants, as long as we understand and know their needs, definitely can recommend some unique properties in each area that would suit people differently. But these are, again, not too taxing on the itinerary. These are wonderful little options to be able to take a little bit of a different route. Private onsens, I will find out for you. I will find out if there are private experiences. But when you're in the hotel, you have, they're using the similar waters as you would dip into. But we'll get back to you on that question for sure if there are any private private onsens to experience. But yes, understood. Yes, we always have to address the question of the tattoos, but I will have someone address that for you. Absolutely. And I think, oh, thank you so much. We appreciate the feedback. Yeah, some of these are extraordinary experiences. I really love what this group has done, and it's been a pleasure to share it with you. So you have my email address, and if you want to be connected with anyone locally in Japan, we certainly will do that for you. I'm just going to type info@truemarketing.com into this presentation or into the chat, and yes, so that you all can make sure that you reach out if there's anything that we can help with, and we're happy to assist. So again, this will be on our YouTube channel in its entirety if you missed any portion. Really appreciate you joining us today. Please email me if any more questions come to mind, and we really look forward to helping you continue to build your business to Japan with some of these extraordinary, unique experiences. So we wish you all a great day and have a lovely afternoon.